Welcome back to Rocket Talk. This is now episode 22. I'm joined this week by only Connor. Johnny had to take the week off. He wasn't feeling the best, so hopefully he feels well soon. We didn't record last week, actually. We took it off for the 4th of July, but we did have a Rocket Talk mini for you, and also a little more self-promotion. There is a new Rocket Talk mini that by the time this is posted will also be live on The Last of Us 2. I did it with a few of my buddies. Where I give my opinions on it. So if you want to hear some very, very spoiler opinions on it, you can listen to myself, my friends, Zach, Ryan, and Michael all give our opinions on it. So, hey, definitely go listen to that. Connor, how you doing, though, today?
I'm doing well. I actually got up at 5 this morning to get to the gym before work. And even though it sucked, as soon as I got there, I was like, okay, this is going to be a pretty productive day. And I ended up getting a lot of work done today, so yeah, I'm feeling really good. How's your day?
It was good, just a normal Monday, but we can jump on into our news topics. The first one, a little more of on a serious note. Naya Rivera, the former Glee star who was Santana, she passed away about a week ago. She was on a boat with her son that she rented, and she ended up drowning. As each day we've gotten more and more stuff. So the day we're recording on Monday the 13th, it was actually the day that she was found, and we even found out too now that her 4-year-old son told investigators that her mom boosted her back up onto the deck before he looked back and saw her disappearing under the water. So she must have just used enough energy to save him. So very, very sad news that came out of it. I watched a little bit of Glee for the first season or so. I was never one that was like super into it, but I mean it's always sad when anyone loses their life, especially something like this where she was so young. She was 33 years old, so
very tragic. Her body was discovered. Don't know how to say this. Lake Piru, and it was found floating in the northeast area of the lake, where the water is between 35 and 60 feet deep. So I imagine she was treading water for quite a while and just lost all of her energy, unfortunately. And yeah, I never watched Glee, but it's a tragedy nonetheless. And I really feel for her family going through this tragedy right now. So I guess we'll just have to send good wishes their way.
Yeah, it's just so crazy because, in today's day and age, like with social media and just all the technology, there's a AP article that I have pulled up and it talked about how family members were chatting with her, on FaceTime, before they went and jumped in the water for a swim, and so that helped them, figure out maybe where they could have been, but at the same time, it's crazy that, there was someone that was talking to her, probably only a few minutes before her life ended. So definitely a sad moment, definitely one we wanted to talk on. Also sad in a way, and as we're into another news now topic, I guess, is that Kanye West has decided he wants to run for president.
Yeah.
So depending on, I don't know.
What
man.
a transition. Yeah, he announced he's running for president on Independence Day. And what's really strange about, other than that, is the fact that rapper Kanye West is running for president. What's strange about his campaign is that he will not be campaigning on any policies at all. He says that policies are going to change and they get in the way, so he just figured he's not going to do that at all. And get this, he said he wants to base his vision for America off of Wakanda from Black Panther.
Dude, I don't know. We cannot take this man seriously. He's not,
It's a PR move.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, it's just insane because of so his endorsement so far is Elon Musk, Kim Kardashian, Darrelle Revis, who was a football player for the Jets, the Buccaneers and Patriots, Des Bryant, who was a football player for the Cowboys, 2 Chainz, and Chance the Rapper. And it's just
with the exception of Elon Musk, I don't care about any of those opinions.
Yeah, seriously, it's he's running off of a Republican-leaning pro-black religious platform, which that's a good platform to take because that is one that both Trump and Biden are fighting for. but I just don't know how serious he actually is, and that can cause a lot of issues for both of the two what he made. We're not going to get too much into it with the politics, but like that is one that like this could have an impact on both, like where it'll split the votes on both sides, and I don't really know if either side really want that.
Listen to how empty all of his campaign is. When asked about foreign policy, he said, "I haven't developed it yet. I'm focused on protecting America first with our great military. Let's focus on ourselves first." Now, when asked about taxes, he said, "I haven't done enough research on that yet. I will research that with the strongest experts that serve God and come back with the best solution. And that will be my answer for everything I haven't researched. I have the earplug in, and I'm going to use that earplug." This dude has absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's like people made fun of Gary Johnson when he ran for president because he didn't know certain stuff, but like at least Gary Johnson knew like somewhat what he was talking about. At least Trump knew somewhat he was talking about and stuff.
Yeah,
but
Gary Johnson's downfall was Aleppo, I think.
Yeah, but what a weird thing, man. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not telling people what to do with their life, but don't vote for Kanye West, please.
Yeah, we just wanted to, with particularly Naya and Kanye, we wanted to touch on these topics just because of how big the news is.
Yeah, exactly. The Naya thing is a big thing, and like Glee is in a way can be considered like a nerdy show type of thing too, and then that one's just more sad. But yeah, the Kanye thing is just like why?
Yeah.
Another more serious one is that the U.S. is looking to join India and other countries in banning TikTok. TikTok, has really blown up over the last couple of years, especially after Vine met its demise, and just with all the data that people are upset about it stealing, and there's all the other random stuff. I don't know, man. TikTok is a wild place. That is for sure.
Yes. I don't personally have a TikTok, but I understand that it is the replacement for Vine, and that there is kind of there's a little bit more freedom you have with it being longer form, but just the fact that it could very well be banished, then it's going to be huge. Like obviously that's going to because of the security concerns, it's going to probably push a need for more short form content platforms, and we're going to see perhaps US based companies take that spot. But yeah, I also wanted to throw that in just because of how big TikTok is and the fact that it could just be gone.
Yeah. Well, there is technically one there. There is Byte, which was formed by Dom Hoffman, who was a co-founder of Vine. But yeah, I don't know. But like with all the stuff that TikTok does, because that's where the big issue is coming from, is that it can in the privacy policy, it says that TikTok will collect usage information, IP addresses, a user's mobile carrier, unique device identifiers, keystroke patterns, location data, and among others. So it's taken. I mean, like a lot of apps take stuff like that too, but it's still just bringing concerns, and also part of it with it being China doesn't help with different people being scared of the Chinese. But hey. Who knows? By the time this episode goes live, maybe TikTok will be banned in America or not long after. But it'll be definitely interesting to watch that. I guess. But some more lighthearted news and ones that we're both very excited about. Crash Bandicoot, the renaissance continues. Crash Bandicoot on the Run was officially announced finally. It is a endless runner mobile game that is going to be released worldwide later on. It already had a soft launch in Southeast Asia on Android back in April, but it's an endless runner type of thing, just like Sonic Dash or Temple Run or something like that, where the more you play, the more you get, and there's gonna be skins and all that, and so it's actually being developed by King, which is the developer behind Candy Crush Saga, the massively popular mobile game. Actually, here's fun. I never played Candy Crush.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no way.
No, I played Bejeweled, which is similar, but yeah, no, I never played Candy Crush.
Bejeweled. Oh, my dad is obsessed with Candy Crush right now, and I was super into Candy Crush for probably 4 months or so, and I don't know. I have no attention span with that whatsoever. Now, there's no word on when the game is going to officially launch, but users can start pre-registering
Yeah,
on Google Play Store.
yeah, if you and on for Apple as well, if you pre-register, you get a blue hyena skin, which he has the same skin in Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. So he's just like a nice blue and has some spots on his back. But I mean, so they're definitely obviously gonna lean into the microtransactions because it's a freemium game, a free to play one, and this will be the first Crash mobile game in about 10 years. The last Crash mobile game I can think of was Crash Bandicoot Nitro Kart 2 on iOS back in 2010. And so
Did you play it?
A little bit. I didn't see that. This is back when iPhone and on iPod Touch games cost money. This was back before the freemium market took over everything. So like, I played a little bit of it, like a demo, and then like would play it at the Apple Store, whichever Crash Nitro Kart it was. But yeah, I did not put that much time into it. There's a little bit of stuff from these games that actually got put into Nitro Fueled, including Yaya Panda, who is in one of these Crash mobile games. I want to say it's Nitro Kart 2. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but she was a character in the mobile games, and now she's in Nitro Fueled because that game is a love letter to anything and everything Crash Bandicoot. So, I'll download it probably once it comes out, and I'll play it a little bit. But I don't know.
Are you much of a mobile game
really
player?
I'll let Abby see it. Maybe she'll play it because I know she plays a lot of mobile games. Like if I I'll have a spurt where I'll play a few games for a bit. I have basically every Sonic mobile game downloaded on here. And like I'll mess around with stuff, but like for the most part, not really. Like when I was in high school and trying to kill time, yeah, I did a little more. Like I, like everyone else, I played a lot of Fruit Ninja and Jetpack Joyride and all that. But yeah, like I said, I'll get it. Like I got Mario Kart Tour when it came out. I got Call of Duty Mobile when it came out, and I played those a little bit. But I'm not like going out of my way to log on to see all the new stuff on those games because I don't want to drop $40 for Diddy Kong or Call of Duty's fun, but like I have a PlayStation, so I can just play it on that. But
exactly, I'm in the exact same place as you. But what's fun about this is the trailer implies that we can play with friends. Although
that
all the
looks
articles
really cool.
I read, they don't mention any specifics about it.
So yeah, I don't fully understand what it's going to be like with that, but it looks really fun with how you're going to be able to how you're going to be able to play with friends somehow. So that's going to be a ton of fun, I think. I like the design. It's a nice mix of Crash being his like classic design and a little bit of like what his new design is in Crash 4. So it's a nice mix. But yeah, it's going to be fun to see how that mechanic will work. Because they didn't show a whole lot of gameplay. You can find some gameplay online, but I don't know how much of that multiplayer thing is up yet either. But definitely one we'll be keeping our eyes on, and once we get it, we can maybe give a little minor review on it. So
absolutely.
And then our final Nerd News Now topic for the week is the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X games are going to cost more money than their previous generation counterparts, just like the jump from PS2 and Xbox to 360 and PS3. We're going up $10 more. So a new AAA game is expected to cost $70. We already had a few confirmed, like NBA 2K and all that. So
it was all but guaranteed with this. Now that we're getting into these next, these just ridiculously powerful consoles, it was expected. Although I am wondering, do you think, as these consoles become more and more powerful 20, 30, 40, 50 years in the future, do you think it's going to be regular, like normal for games to cost $100 each?
I mean, maybe, yeah, because the issue too is that like this is a big deal, and like it makes sense. With inflation, when we jumped up to $60, in 2005, 2006, now that's worth $76. So 2006, $60 game would be worth $76 now. So like it makes sense, and every other types of entertainment's gone up. This article that is cited on IGN talks about how movie theater tickets have gone up 39%, Netflix have gone up 100%, cable TV has risen 105%. So everything's gone up. But the nice thing is that we're regulated, because people always forget that like back in the cartridge days, like the Genesis and Nintendo 64 days and all that, there was like no regulation. So like there were some new games that were like, yeah, 50, $60, and there were some new games that were like $80, and just like people dealt with it. You know, it's good for a lot of reasons. It's good for the developers because like video game costs are getting exponential. Like it's insane how how much more it is, and it's like inflation is a big thing. You know, so this game goes up because it takes more to develop, and also it takes more for these developers to live. You know, milk is more money than it was in 2006. So like this developer, needs money so they can pay their staff so they can make more games. It coming right now is probably not the best time because, with this whole pandemic thing, people have been out of work. But
and I mean, I'm obviously anything that's more expensive, I'm just like, oh, man. But I mean, I get it. I absolutely get it. And that being said, people can still go buy used games, and I buy used games all the time. They're not that bad.
Yeah, and especially as we get into these more nicer things, and then on top of that too, it's it's going to be a situation where buying Halo 6 at launch is going to be $70. Okay, well, buying Halo 6 in like 2022 is going to be like 20. So
yes.
They're not Nintendo. The games are going to go down. So on top of that, though, too, as we are talking about next gen stuff with prices, we also now got what the box art will look like as well for the next gen console. So PlayStation's going with a simple, clean look. They're basically taking what they had with the PS4, but they're changing the band at the top from it being blue and white to a blue background with white lettering to a white-black background with black lettering, but they're still keeping the blue case. So I like the design. I just don't know if I really like the addition of keeping the blue case.
Really?
I don't know. I think the white just clashes a little bit too much. Where the blue on blue blended nicely. I liked it, but who knows too. I like it though. I think it's fine. It's clean and simple. Where the Xbox, on the other hand, is busy. So like the big thing that is Microsoft's pushing that, at least at the start, all Xbox Series X games should be playable on the Xbox One. And so because of that, they're selling games in cases that let you know that. And so instead of saying Xbox One on the plastic at the top, it just says Xbox, and then it has a little banner that says Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and lets you know you can play it in 4K, Ultra HD, and has smart delivery. And then the other big one is there's a big diamond-shaped sticker that says optimized for Series X. That'll be on those cases as well, so that way people know. It's so that's just gonna especially like on the Far Cry one for Far Cry 6, which we'll talk about in a second in our topic of the week, which just got announced. There's a lot of like oranges and white, like all the colors. The Xbox Series X green really sticks out.
Yes, it does.
So
it absolutely does.
But so I'm personally leaning towards the PS5 design myself, but I just don't like how the Xbox One is just too busy.
It is very busy.
Like the Far Cry case is a nice looking case, going off the other previous games as well, and then you just it's an eyesore and you throw in all that because now you have all this different real estate that's taken up by all these random things, and then to play in it. But hey.
With that giant sticker on there, if they took that away, it wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you could just have, optimized for Series X somewhere in smaller print somewhere else, where it says,
Well,
4K.
the reason they need it bigger like that is because, people are stupid. It's the same reason why the Wii U failed, because people didn't know, hey, is this a expansion for the Wii, or is this a whole new console? What is this? And Nintendo was like, I don't know. So, and Xbox doing that too. Like you see a PS5, and this is for the PlayStation 5, not the PlayStation 2. And
what? And actually, I mean, I don't know. I just now saw it. When you said, the blue clashes a little bit, it actually kind of looks like a Blu-ray case.
Yeah, well, because they've been in these blue cases the whole time too, and it'd be like that. Yeah, like a Blu-ray. I mean, Sony owns Blu-ray, so that's probably why they use blue for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it does. It's just like the I don't know. I would have liked a white or a black translucent case myself, but also it's just me. I'm one person. Like, I'm sure these marketing people have a reason why they did it.
These are all our opinions, just our opinions.
But yeah, so that we do have that. So we have to look forward to more expensive games and too much real estate on our Xbox cases. And I said that was our last topic, but I accidentally skipped over one. We have one more. Ninja announced that he is going to YouTube gaming with Mixer shutting down. By the time this episode goes live, Mixer will be shutting down in only a couple days. So we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but Microsoft is closing it down. The system just never got enough reach as they would have wanted, never put a big dent into Twitch or YouTube or even Facebook's gaming. So the probably one of the biggest signings that Mixer got, and that was a huge thing to really get the platform out there, didn't fully work out. And so Ninja now is going to YouTube after he was with Twitch. So I'm not one that's super deep into the streaming world, so I don't know like what him going to YouTube gaming will mean for him in terms of like how the platform will do for him. YouTube is going to love it because like they have one of the biggest streamers ever now, like exclusive to their platform. But yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting one to keep the eye on over the next few months for people who aren't into that.
Did we get any information on how much money he's going to be making? I know he turned down a deal with Facebook Gaming, but I wasn't able to find any figures.
Nothing's out right now. I mean, it's worth a lot. It's going to be worth millions because his Mixer deal was $10 million or something a year, or something like that.
Jeez, a year?
He's getting he was getting a lot of money, and so when they shut it down, Facebook Gaming bought out the rights to everything, and so they were able to get immediate partner status with Facebook Gaming, but they were able to decline it, opt out of their contract, and then go to either Twitch or YouTube or restructure anything like that. So he's like was one of the only ones that you knew that was like really gonna leave and get something big. So yeah, he's on his way now to the YouTube world again. So because he was on Twitch, like I said, but then he left in 2019, and so all eyes were looking to see what was he gonna do. But all we know is he declined to join Facebook completely. So he was kind of debating: do I go to Twitch or do I go to YouTube?
It's got to be so empowering to have all these major companies begging for you to be there, and you choose them based on all of their offers. Whereas in the average streamer just okay, where am I going to stream today? They might have multiple different places. That's real power.
Yeah. I mean, I still don't get it, man. Like, I'm not one who's into streamers. I don't fully like the appeal, and I never fully got the appeal of Ninja myself. But hey, YouTube is gonna be loving this, so that is for sure. So
exactly. Yep.
But then moving on to our topic of the week, we are basically all wrapped up with the E3 replacements this year. There still is a couple more that are coming on, especially with the Xbox reveal that's going to be on the 23rd of July. But besides that, there's Stadia on July 14th, but who cares about Stadia? But most of the big ones are out of the way. So a lot of the big ones we had was IGN Summer of Gaming, the PlayStation 5 reveal, which we talked about in a mini that was posted this past Sunday, EA Play, Ubisoft Forward, PC Game Show, plus a bunch of other ones. Kind of Funny Gaming helped host the Guerrilla Collective, Games Radar had their own thing. The Escapist, which shout out to Michael Kripe from The Escapist, who was on the mini on The Last of Us. The Escapist did an indie showcase, so limited run games. So there's a bunch that's gone on over the last month or so, as we've been replacing E3 since it was canceled due to the pandemic and also just all the other things that have killed E3. But I thought it'd be good if we went over kind of just some of our thoughts on some of the bigger events, and anything really stood out from some of the smaller ones, and then kind of our own Rocket Talk Best in Show for E3 this year. So let's first start off with the IGN Summer of Gaming. So this was a 5-day expo that IGN put on early in June, right around the same time the PlayStation reveal happens. So it was nice because it was a good mix where they had new game announcements, exclusive gameplay reveals, developer interviews, and all that. So one of the biggest things that really stood out for me for the IGN one was during day one they did show some more gameplay of Second Extinction, which we got to see in the Xbox reveal. And so this was the first time we actually got to see some gameplay, and the game definitely does look like a ton of fun. I'm definitely still excited for this one. It was nice to see how it actually will look when it's running on our PS5s and our Xbox Series X's. But yeah, there's a few other things that really stood out to me. Is there what's probably the biggest thing that stood out to you from these Xbox Expo days?
I was going to load, you stupid machine. There we go. Okay, so I'm never the biggest E3 guy. I just go and look at the few games I really like. I usually stick with certain titles, and then I'll go if there's a new one, great. But with this one, I actually did. Luke is the most organized person ever. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 different bullet points for 15 different parts of E3. So I went through all of them, and with IGN, I went through day one. Second Extinction looked really fun. What else was I looking at? Yakuza Like a Dragon a little bit. And then I scrolled through, Chivalry 2, and I scrolled through the Game Award winners. That's what I was looking at. And with Second Extinction specifically, I didn't know that we're going to have going to be all types, not just a carnival. You get to choose your own upgrade your weapons. I didn't know it was going to have weapon upgrades.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice because it'll give you.
That's all I've got.
I mean, also good. It gives you reasons to play. It'll give you reasons to come back and try new things, and it's definitely, like I said, it's one that I've kept my eyes on because it looks like it's a really cool idea, and so it was nice to see some stuff. But yeah, that was definitely one that stood out. Yakuza did a little bit for me again as well because while I'm not a big Yakuza guy, it coming to the Xbox is a big deal because it can help out. That's a pretty big series, and then the addition of just all the new stuff that's coming in the new game. I know that it's doing well over in Japan. One of the other ones that stood out for me was actually one that I'm a little hesitant on, but they announced a new Nicktoons kart racing game again. So a couple years ago, a Nicktoons kart racer came out. It was Nickelodeon Kart Racers, and I wouldn't say I was oh my gosh, I'm going to pre-order this game right now type of thing, but I was excited for it because at the time too, we didn't have any kart racers really on the PlayStation or Xbox. We had Mario Kart, but we didn't have because when this was announced and came out, we didn't know about Crash Team Racing yet. So I was like, oh cool. I was excited for it, and because it had had a bunch of playable characters. It had 12 playable Nicktoons across 24 tracks based off of the shows. And it had SpongeBob and Hey Arnold and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Rugrats, and I was like, oh awesome. But the game just did not do well. Nintendo Life gave it 3 out of 10, citing just the lack of voice acting, its roster size, how it was missing popular series. Its Metacritic score is Switch, a 42 out of 100 on PS4 and a 49 out of 100 on the Xbox One. So it's basically got unfavorable reviews, and so it just is a bummer because this could have been a nice game, especially because at the time when it came out we had no idea about Crash Team Racing. So but we are getting a sequel, and so now this one is going to feature 30 playable characters across 12 different Nicktoons and 28 courses, with some remastered from the original and then some new. But we're adding in Cat Dog and the Loud House, Tar, Ren and Stimpy, Invader Zim, Rocco's Modern Life, plus JoJo Suiya is also joining the game. So that's definitely interesting, to say the least. But it's nice because like it's nice we're getting some, and we're getting a few more characters. So like from Rugrats, you can play as Tommy, Chucky, Angelica, Reptar. You can play as Squidward and SpongeBob and Patrick. You can play as Aang and Korra from both Avatar series. So plus you're going to see different characters, like you're going to see Toph, and you're going to see Filbert from Rocco's Modern Life, and Kimmy Finster and Splinter, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. So I'm hesitant on it. I'm not like, again, I'm not gonna be, yes, I'm gonna go pre-order it, especially after how poor the first one did. But definitely I think one of the other ones.
Not full price for this game?
I don't believe so. I want to say the first one was either $30 or $40, so I think this one will also be cheap. But
yes, I mean, I even then I don't know if I would pay that kind of money. But eventually, if they keep at this, it's tugging at the heartstrings for all of our, I guess, for anyone who wants to play nostalgic games like this. However, one day, if they keep at it, I think it could potentially be always, thinking about kart racers, it will always be in the same mention. It could be mentioned in the same breath as Mario Kart.
Yeah,
it
even
doesn't
if it
have that traction right now, though.
Yeah, even if it doesn't have the quality, just like something. Because like I said too, a big one is, once, like we have Crash Team Racing on the Xbox and the PlayStation, but there's not a whole lot of kart racing options. So, and you have Team Sonic Racing as well. But like, there's just not a whole lot of, like, when that came out, we knew TSR was coming, and there's reasonable doubt to assume that we'd get Crash Team Racing. But that was like one of the main kart racing games we had on that. So, but yeah, it's all good. One to set out too. Another one, kind of just a nice throwback, is the Alex Kidd series is getting revived. It was a Sega series that Alex Kidd was actually the initial mascot for Sega back before Sonic.
Holy
so.
Shit.
He was the mascot back on the Sega Master System, but he was never able to really get the same impact as Mario, obviously. And so Alex Kidd in Miracle World is getting a remake that was announced during this IGN thing back on June 10th. And so it's going to come out on the PlayStation, the Switch, and the Xbox and PC at some point next year. It's going to be a remake complete from the ground up, but it's also going to feature new levels, some alternate boss fights, and then what's really cool is it's going to have an option for a more modern indie style looking graphics, or more of a retro style, so it'd look like more what it did on the Sega Master System in 1986. So another one that I'm not really probably like going out of my way to get, but it's cool to see another Sega IP get acknowledged, because one issue that Sega has kind of had recently is that they haven't really acknowledged any of their IPs that is not Sonic or Yakuza. Plus, then they own part of Atlas, so Persona. But like we got a Monkey Ball last year. That was the first time we had a Monkey Ball game on a console in almost a decade. We haven't seen Alex Kidd in years. We haven't seen all these different ones, and we started to see a few get remade. Panzer Dragoon was another Sega game that just got a recent remake, and a few others, but Sega just has this like, yeah, we don't really care about you anymore. So yeah, definitely nice to see it get brought up. But yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of other big ones that from IGN that really stood out. A couple the other big ones, which they mentioned in their award show, is more from the PS5 reveal, but we gave our thoughts on that Rocket Duck Mini that just went live this past week. So go listen to that for our opinions, because like their best new game announcement was Spider-Man, and their best trailer was Deathloop from the PS5 reveal. there's a couple of things they had too. The best overall moment was when we saw the PS5. So the IGN thing I think was nice though, because it was a good mix of indie, first party, some smaller games that I wanted to hear about, some big stuff like they had stuff at the Xbox and all that. So I was relatively pleased with that one. One of the other big ones was EA Play. EA Play Live. They've done their own thing for the last few years. They actually haven't been at E3 for a while, but they would do something at the same time as E3, like the same week. And so they did their own thing again this time. And they've actually had a decently positive year for the most part with some of their big announcements. One of the big ones was Star Wars Squadrons, a brand new Star Wars game, since they still have the right. It's definitely looks pretty cool. I'm not into those aerial combat games that much, but
could this turn you?
Maybe, yeah. It looks fun. That's for sure.
It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like there's a few developers that like I know are going to make games that are going to push like the systems to their limits, and a lot of the EA developers like Criterion and DICE are some of them, along with Naughty Dog and Polyphony, or how do you say it, that works on Gran Turismo on the PlayStation. Like some of those developers, like they know how to like this looks incredible. Like it looks like you're watching the movie at times with some of the stuff they're showing in the trailer, like with the CG. Like it looks beautiful, and so it's gonna be a cool looking game. It's not another not day one purchase. There wasn't a whole lot of day one purchase announcements for me at this, like with all these E3 stuff. But this will probably be one that if it bodes well and my friends like it, I'll probably pick it up. A couple months down the line, maybe Christmas time, I'll pick it up as a Christmas gift. But
or put it on the wish list.
Exactly. The biggest one though that got me excited was Apex Legends. Although I never really played it, I played a little bit when it came out, and I've never been like super sold on it. It's coming to the Switch, and it's getting a cross platform play getting added to it as well in the fall. And I'm more just excited because it means another FPS is coming to the Switch, because there's not a whole lot of first-person shooters, especially like AAA level ones. And so if Apex does well, hopefully Activision sees that, and then maybe we can see Warzone or Call of Duty Mobile get added as well. But
that'd be really cool.
I was excited about that. Was there anything really with EA that stood out for you, Connor?
Definitely Squadrons, single player and multiplayer options with increasingly harder levels, lots of customization, just a gorgeous looking game overall. Other than that, with EA, of course you get your sports games and stuff like that. I think Squadrons is probably just the one that I would probably consider buying.
Yeah, for sure. The other big one that people are excited about is Skate. Got its official announcement. There is a new Skate game coming. I played Tony Hawk. I never played Skate, but I had some friends that were very, very excited.
Mm-hmm. You probably saw that that video on Twitter. Skate is back.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was kind of cute.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, like I said, like their obligatory sport video where we got to see like next gen Madden and all that's like.
Next gen Madden, next gen sports games never ever really looks that next gen other than the sweat.
Exactly. Like cool. Like it'll be nice. And this was the first time we got to see stuff like the new Falcons uniform or stuff like that. But yeah, it's like they put so much on the like when they show the fans on the FIFA part of it, it's like the fans are never gonna look that good. They're gonna be just like little 2D blocks and they'll have a couple people in the front that are fully animated, but
then in the background you have like 100 characters within view pumping their fists in perfect synchronization or clapping their hands in perfect synchronization.
Yeah, exactly. So, but who knows? I do know people were a little upset with some of the FIFA 21 stuff. after
Oh
FIFA
no,
20.
what's going on with FIFA?
I mean, FIFA 20 kind of fell flat with a lot of people with the current gen versions, and then the Switch version got a lot of flack because it was being sold at $40, and it was basically just a roster and UI update. There was no the Switch version had no updates outside of like user interface, and like basically I got a coat of paint over it. Like people make the joke that you're paying for a roster update, but you literally were paying for a roster update if you bought FIFA 20 on the Switch. And then I guess the PC port of FIFA 21 is just going to be like bare bones compared to the console version. So,
and that's interesting because I know they're really trying to revamp their image in the eye of customers because it was so tarnished with all the microtransactions. But the fact that they're still pulling shit like this, I mean that's
it's just too bad because like I didn't watch it live, but just looking at all just like looking at all the stuff that was announced, there was a lot of good stuff. Like there's the Star Wars game looks fun. The addition of Apex Legends to the Switch, as well as some more EA games coming to Steam, all great. The Lost in Random game doesn't look like for me, but like it's nice to see them do another game that's like has nothing to do with sports or Star Wars or shooting. And yeah, sure, like and then Skate coming back, but then you have this with the sports stuff where it's like they just don't listen to their fans when it comes to the sports games, and it's the same that's happened with Madden as well. Like the EA had a rough year with this stuff too, because Madden 20 also doesn't get much love either, and like Madden has been in a rut as well. Like some of these games have been in ruts for the last few years, so maybe the new generation of consoles can help them kind of rebound a little bit. But if you talk to people like the Madden games the last 2 or 3 years, the FIFA games, they don't sit well with the fan bases. So
I remember everyone being specifically shit. I had a point I was going. Never mind. I forgot my point.
Yeah. So yeah, EA almost had a good one, and then they had to be EA. So the other like really big one that I wanted to really hit on, besides before we go and just do more like briefly touch on the other ones, was Ubisoft. They just had their Ubisoft Forward the day before we recorded this on July 12th, and so there's always one that I like to watch. Even part of it, even though I'm not a super big Ubisoft person, I don't play Far Cry, I don't play Assassin's Creed, I don't play Watch Dogs, and I don't care about Just Dance. But they had a nice showing yesterday with this. So, like one of the big ones was they announced Far Cry 6, which had leaked right before it's like towards the end of last week. A lot of stuff was leaking, but it's coming out in February. And it's going to have Giancarlo Esposito, or how do you say? I can't remember exactly how to say his name, but Gus from Breaking Bad or Moff Gideon from The Mandalorian is going to be the villain of the game. And the trailer, it's like some sort of like a Latin American type of country where he is El Presidente. And it looks like it's his son, and he's trying to teach him stuff. And so it looks like it's going to be a very much playing on the political undertones that the Far Cry series has had for years. Of this one being in kind of a Venezuela type of place, and so definitely looks interesting. I've heard a lot of great things about the Far Cry games. I mean, it's one that has been on my backlog for a little bit. Maybe I'll eventually get one of them and try it out. The game looked pretty with its reveal trailer.
Yes.
Obviously that's all like more cutscene stuff, but looked nice.
Yeah. I must say the tearing down of statues definitely seems very relevant and is meant to, garner attention for sure. And they got my attention. And just like you, Far Cry's been on my to play list. Yeah,
exactly. One of the other big ones is we got some Assassin's Creed stuff. We got about a 6-minute gameplay overview that went over what's going to be coming in Valhalla, which also got confirmed for a November 17th release date on Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Stadia. And then Ubisoft also reconfirmed that it will also come out on next gen, but they didn't give a release date, so we don't know if that's going to be a day one release on the new consoles or if that'll come out a few weeks after. as we also still don't know when the new consoles are coming out. So,
I mean, thoughts on this?
I mean, it's
With
the
footage we saw.
yeah, I kind of skimmed the footage. I didn't like sit down and watch all of it like I did with the Far Cry trailer. Like I like the idea of the setting. I like the Norse mythology, especially after playing God of War last year. Like it's cool to see. But I don't know. Like Assassin's Creed was never a series I put like really any time into. So like I can't really sit down and say, oh, this looks so much better than the other ones, or this looks so much worse than the other ones. But it's nice to see a cool concept for who you play as this time as your assassin, since you're a Viking raider. And I know one of the cool things, just to kind of help with inclusion and just letting people do what they want, is your character you play as, you can be either male or female, and you can swap. Like if you want to play as a male for a bit, and then you want to change to the female, you can swap. And so it'll be nice that like it gives.
I think they're both the same name. Right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. It's like Evor or Evior. It's and so yeah,
Something like that.
And so they have two different actors that do it. You can customize your hair, your war paint, your clothing, your armor, your tattoos, and there's a huge variety of weapons. And so, like, it looks nice. You can have a cat on your Viking ship. So I mean, like, that's cool too.
Yeah.
But
it's huge, wide open map.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's
gorgeous.
Yeah, that's the thing is they definitely can do a lot with these, the series. What's crazy? This is going to be the 12th major and 22nd installment in the series.
Wow.
So
yeah, it's been around for a minute.
Yeah, and they've had time to develop it, because this was the they took a year off. They did some remasters, but Odyssey came out in 2018, so they skipped 2019. So it'll have a 2-year gap between the games.
But they'll make up with that with this being the largest variety of enemies ever assembled in an Assassin's Creed game, especially with just how huge the map is, and building kingdoms from the ground up all over. You get to battle against all sorts of enemies, and they all look fun, and I think they're going to be a bit more... I think they said it's going to be way harder than it's ever been before, but not impossible.
Yeah, so definitely looks like a good thing. I'm sure it'll be a big one for the fans, but yeah, there's a couple other ones that kind of stood out to me. Watch Dogs got a new game as well, with Watch Dogs Legions that was previously announced, and it also got its release date. And that's not a game I've never played, but it looks like a nice fun GTA clone with enough things to do to set it apart. So, but yeah, I mean, then they had their other stuff like I don't care about Just Dance or Brawlhalla. They have another battle royale game that's now in an open beta, and it's just like, whatever. Like,
you mean you're not going to get The Crew 2?
No, probably not. So, but it's I don't know. There's just so many games that Ubisoft makes that like there's just too much money. I don't have that much money, man. So
I'm still waiting for Skull and Bones. When the fuck is that coming? Oh, initial release date March 2021.
There you go.
Pushed back.
So, one of the other last really big ones was the PC gaming show. This one, there wasn't a whole lot that was revealed that really got me going. The biggest one, I think, for me was that we got to find out that Persona 4 Golden came to Steam. And what's funny is that instantly became like one of the best sellers on Steam. So Persona 4 came out originally on the PlayStation 2 in 2008. So it came out. So it was a PS2 game, and then it was re-released as a PS2 classic, so you could buy it on your PS3 in 2014. But like it came out 2 years after the PS3 was out, and then it also was ported to the Vita in the Golden version, which also came out on PC recently, 2012. But the Vita, at least in America, was dead early in its life, And then so now it's on Steam, and so for the Persona fans, that's huge, because the Persona games are some of the most well received, especially the two most recent ones. 4 and 5 are two of those games that get up there with Mario 3 and The Last of Us as some of the greatest games of all time. So
wow. And since it's been 12 years, I imagine they digitally restored it or remastered
yeah,
it or
I want
something?
to. So I haven't seen too much gameplay of it, but I want to say they probably just went and they up-resed it some more from the Vita version, because the Vita version was essentially just a PS3 version.
Wow, that's huge. That is huge.
Yeah, so it's huge for the RPG fan base. I know Blake likes Persona 5. He's played that, so I'm sure he went and picked up Persona 4.
Blake, if you have, you should definitely comment below.
Exactly. But I mean, there's others, random ones that look interesting, but we got to see more from Godfall, which has been shown off with some of these more stuff. But most of the other games, it's like, I don't really care about these random indie games that I'm never gonna touch. But
yeah, for all major E3 events, you gotta swim through the noise and the traffic to get to what you want to get to.
exactly, yeah. And then really after that, there's a bunch of other stuff that happened throughout the month. Like I mentioned, how the Escapists had their own thing, and Games Radar, but there wasn't a whole lot of really things that really stood out. With everything else, even limited run games, who I like to follow some of their stuff, because what they'll do is they'll take some smaller indie titles, or some re-release games, and put them on physical releases. So you can go and get a physical version of the Toe Jam and Earl sequel that came out on PlayStation and Switch and all that a couple years ago, or the Star Wars HD ports of the Jedi Academy games. You can get a physical version of those, and it's nice and all. And then they showed a lot of the stuff that's coming, but I didn't know most of the games they were showing. So I mean, they continue to show. There's gonna be a bunch more Star Wars games are coming back onto physical releases, which is nice. There's a Power Rangers game that the first batch has just started getting the pre-orders out as well. But so I don't know. It's that was nice and all, but most of these other stuff, it was just a lot of cool. I don't know any of these games you're showing.
Exactly. Yeah, and we just gotta like I said before, I just sort through to find the limited number of titles I actually am going to play, and again, that's 3 or less a year, maybe normal. Actually, maybe this year I'll probably be playing a lot more. But yeah, I just want to keep updated, since I'm not a PlayStation guy, I just want to keep updated on the games that you keep up with, and Johnny for all of his Nintendo games. And since I'm probably gonna buy a computer this year, I'm probably gonna become a PC gamer, but I'll still want to see some of the major Xbox titles.
Yeah, well, the nice thing is that
how few there are.
Well, the nice thing is that Microsoft, they're just more pushing hey, play our games wherever you can. So you'll be able to play all those games on PCs. You can get Halo and Gears and Forza on your PC if you have a strong enough PC. But yeah, I mean, this is how I usually am with E3 as well. When we have a normal E3, is I focus on all the Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, and then the big developers, Bethesda and Ubisoft and EA. But I don't really pay attention to the other ones, because it's who cares? And that's kind of how I was with a lot of these too. Where it's I watched a little bit of IGN stuff here and there. I watched the PlayStation 5 reveal. I checked out I was on Twitter during the EA stuff, so I was seeing a lot of live reactions to it. But yeah, it's I couldn't care less about Monster Vine, Hot Game Summer, and all that. But oh well, I definitely miss E3 in a lot of ways. I think some of these indie games were able to get a little more focus this year, because they weren't being slogged down by all this big news from Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, EA all at the same time. But also, like I said before we got on the topic, we still have a couple more conferences to go, with Stadia releasing some of their new stuff, and then Xbox. And so it was fun when everything was all within a couple of days of each other. and now when everything's spread out over almost 2 months, it's like, okay, let's wrap this up. But
Yeah.
oh well. If we were to do kind of our own best in show, what would you say your winners would be for like the best new game announcements, or like or just your over, and then like your overall like best winner and a couple of things like that.
Best new game is in like best original new game.
Yeah. So like, best new game as in like a game that would have been announced at one of these things. So like Star Wars or Far Cry, Nickelodeon, Kart Racer 2, stuff like that.
Probably for the ones that I cared about, probably Squadrons.
Yeah.
And then what was the other one?
I've seen a couple things like that, or like what gameplay do you think was the best that you got to see too? Like obviously we didn't see all the gameplay, but out of all the gameplay you've seen, whether it was a new game announced or a previously announced one that we got gameplay.
Squadrons and Valhalla for the gameplay one, definitely. What about you?
Yes, a new game. I would also probably say Star Wars Squadrons. And then for gameplay, I didn't get to see a whole lot, but probably Second Extinction. After IGN's thing, we did get some Crash 4 stuff as well, which even though it wasn't part of it, that'd be one as well I would throw in there. But yeah, and
I didn't see the Crash 4 editions. What did they
so
talk about?
So IGN just kind of showed some gameplay and gave some commentary over it that came out. It was after all their summer of gaming stuff, just kind of more part of just like stuff is coming out. Because their summer of gaming stuff was done by the time Crash was announced. But it was just nice to see it. So that one was kind of one. Like there's a bunch of stuff that wasn't even in these sectors of IGN's thing or PlayStation's thing, because Summer Games Fest is kind of what the unofficial name is for this year's E3 that Jeff Keighley put together. But like since everything was kind of disjointed, we never really had an official this day was when Crash was announced during all that. So, but yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I was actually just going to throw it out to the viewers to have them comment below, but we can say that when you're done.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like this, I love E3. As crappy as the ESA is. So this was a little different this year, but I mean, like everything's been different this year. But yeah, definitely. You guys definitely need to let us know too what your opinions were on all this stuff. What games stood out to you? Are there any that are, day one purchases for you, or or are they purchases you're gonna get basically when you get your new systems or anything like that? So let us know that in the below.
Yeah, and for like the day that these come out, like and since there's just so much going on right now, there's a lot to unpack. Maybe that seems like we're a little scattered right now, but we're going to get more information for the titles we care about as time goes on, and we'll keep you guys updated on those.
Yeah, well, like Ubisoft said too during their thing yesterday, that they're going to do another Ubisoft Forward later in the year. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that at some point before the PS5 and Series X come out, so they can show what the future looks like for that, and show some more stuff for Assassin's Creed and Far Cry and all that. So then it can build that excitement up even more. So, and there's still just a lot we don't know anything for Nintendo in a couple days. So by the time this episode's out, Paper Mario is going to be out, and we don't know anything else for Nintendo besides some small Pokemon stuff. We don't know anything about the new Call of Duty. We don't know the release dates or prices of the stuff. So there's still a lot that we're going to be getting even after all the E3 replacement stuff dies down. So it definitely is going to be a interesting last few months to see what we get and what's been delayed.
It's just nice that despite everything that's going on with the pandemic and then with political tensions, it's still incredible that we've been able to come out with content every week. Yeah,
and like this one. Like this one, we had a lot. We could have honestly made 2 or 3 episodes just on all this content if we really wanted to deep dive into it, which was nice after there were some of those months when it was just like, oh, what can we talk about? So, but
listicles.
Yes, all the listicles and favorite things here. But yeah, it's if I had to give the E3 2020 a rating this year, I would. And I guess there's still time to change that with Xbox and Stadia, but I'd probably give it a nice 3 out of 5. Like it was solid in a lot of ways. That
seems fair.
Yeah, it could have been better, but also like everything scrambled. Like we had a lot of this stuff was put together in less than 3 months. So You know,
I think 3 out of 5 is probably what I would give it to.
Yeah. So hopefully we get some more cool stuff. I'm excited for the Xbox stuff as well because it'll be nice to see how nice some of their how their first party stuff will look because we don't know, we haven't seen any new Halo stuff or Forza or anything like that, and like I already know they're gonna look gorgeous, and hopefully Microsoft is nice and they give us the release date and price point, because then Sony, if they do it before Sony will be not too long behind. And so
exactly
the PlayStation Amazon page has gone up with more information on it, but we still don't have a price or a release date. So hopefully with that going up, that means it's coming soon. But
did they wait this long for the previous generations?
So they had more stuff. They either didn't announce the price or the release date. They had one of those they announced at E3, and the other one they announced a couple weeks later. I just can't remember which was which right now at the top of my head. Because they did a little bit different with Xbox, but basically what PlayStation did was they announced it they officially announced it and showed stuff off in February 2013. And so that's when they went over, okay, this is, with all of its technical stuff, this is what it's going to be able to do. Here's what some games will look like, and all that. And so it was the future of PlayStation. And then the design, the design and the price point was revealed at E3. And then at Gamescom, about 2 months later in August, that's when we got the release date announcements. So we knew by August 20th that it was coming out November 15th for $400 in America. So
we were still on track for last year, but we, instead of having pieces of information, we have absolutely nothing.
Yeah. So because we have most of it, we're just missing the price point because
we have the design.
Yeah, we have the design. We have first party games. We know a lot of the technical stuff. We just don't know the cost and the date. So
they certainly know how to keep us on our toes.
Yeah, for sure. I wish we had a little more, but also who knows how much of it they just haven't been able to because of the pandemic.
Yeah. So for you guys, if you guys plan on getting either an Xbox or a PlayStation, or maybe you just want to go with PC Master Race, let us know in the comments down below.
For sure. And so that will go into the wrap-up time. We were going to do a recommendation this week, but with Johnny being gone, we didn't want to go and discuss his recommendation without him being able to talk about it. So we will not do a recommendation this week. Your recommendation is to find your own recommendation. Haha.
Or tell us in the comments below what you guys have been doing with all your free time recently.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been doing a lot of stuff with video games and TV shows as well. So definitely let us know so we can do that. And then next week, once Johnny's feeling better, he can go over his recommendation, and then I can give a recommendation myself. So that will wrap up episode 22 of Rocket Talk. Be sure to tune into that Last of Us mini if you are interested in it. It's pretty heavy spoiler. It also is not really a mini. We went on for quite a long time, but there's a lot to discuss with that game. So definitely listen to that as well, and keep up on the streams and on Facebook and Twitter and all that as we post more and more stuff as more and more comes out.